Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to Hijama TV. This is Mudassir Raja from Hijama Nation, where we build Hijama entrepreneurs who revive the Sunnah and promote health. Today we'll be interviewing Dr. Asma Mahmood, who was a practicing doctor and who had to quit her job because of a serious illness. So let's listen to her story.
Okay, I'm Dr. Asma Mahmood. I'm from Lahore, Pakistan, and that's pretty much it. But actually, I also have multiple sclerosis, and because of that, I lost my power to walk about 3 years back, and I'm wheelchair bound right now. And because of that, I lost my job 3 years back. I was a working doctor in New Hospital, Lahore. Before that.
MashaAllah. So you lost your job when you got ill 3 years ago?
Yes, I lost my job, but after that, there was, those were bleak days, in the sense that I lost all hope. I had no career, I had no job, and to add upon it, I had a disease which had no cure. But with the grace of Allah Almighty, actually I resorted to Quran and Sunnah, and I found that even though the medical book says that this is a disease which is uncurable and there is no cure, pretty much the maximum they go is take our medicines and your disease will stop progressing. That is to say, it will slow it down. That is to say, there is no cure after all. But as I read ahadith and as I read Allah's words, there was hope after all, because in ahadith it says every disease has a cure. So I thought, why not look up in the hadith and the Quran instead of looking up in the books which already claim that there is no cure. I mean, that is a dead end. So I thought I should look up into something which offers hope, that is Quran and Sunnah. And so I started my search with actually I started with sunnah.com, SUNNAH, and as I typed the words healing, HEALING, in the search, you know a bunch after bunch of hadiths came up, and in my mind, healing with Islamic methods was only like zikr and Qurans and things like that. So and that has its importance and it is spiritually very strengthening, but I did not know that Allah's Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam had actually given us medicines and treatments, actually treatments. Like I read about honey, I read about black seeds, I read about olives, and I like all the sunnah foods. And to top that, I read about something called hijama. I had never heard of hijama before. I had read the Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari and all the hadiths on sunnah.com. And from there, I started searching, what is hijama and what actually is hijama. And actually, I was surprised to see that this is a this is a treatment which is offered in the Quran and Sunnah, and it is like nothing mumble jumble. I mean, even a non-Muslim can understand that this is a surgical procedure in which bad blood is taken out, and it is a detox, to put in very simple words. And being a Muslim, I had no other choice but to follow what my Prophet has said. But I was surprised that this is a luxury we Muslims have. I do not assume any other religion in the world offers, I mean, such treatments. These are actual treatments. There were treatments for eye. There were treatments for actually for stomach diseases. I mean, Surah Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he actually pronounced the words, like the medicines, what you have to take and when you have to take it and how you have to take it. And starting from there, I started with all the sunnah medications I found. Like they were spiritual and there were actual medications. Like on the spiritual side, I read that salah and som, that is prayer and fasting, that helps with shifa. And on the, you can say, the material side of it, I understood that there is miswak you have for the dental hygiene, there is honey, there is black seed. I mean, there were loads of things I had never even given a thought about it. And I was really, that was the time I actually, like, I mean, I don't want to make it sound dramatic, but I actually fell in love with the Prophet and with Allah and His Prophet. With everything, every problem we face in this world, there is a solution in Quran and Sunnah. I mean, no, I do not think anyone will ever be disappointed if they go and search out in Quran and Sunnah. It's all there for everyone.
So you being a doctor, medical doctor, when you found out about your own illness, what was your feeling that you're a doctor and now you're ill? And on top
Yeah.
of that, they're telling you that there's no cure for it. So what was your feeling?
Yeah, there were, like phases of the disease. I only attribute my first reaction to Allah's grace, because the first time I heard I had an uncurable disease, I was not that ill at that time, and my father, he was devastated, and it was me who told him that it is from Allah, it will go by His will. We have nothing to worry about. But that was the time when I was not very ill. So that, I mean, I don't know why those words came out of my mouth, but I'm thankful to Allah that that was my first reaction. But over the years, as the disease progressed, and there was a time, like 3 years back, when I could not even turn myself in my bed. So that was like I needed support. I mean, someone had to carry me and put me in my wheelchair, and it was a very, very difficult time. It was a dark time. This was the time when I lost my job, and with my job, I mean, that is one thing to say I lost my job. I actually had lost my career, and all for what I was studying. Like, it was a long time, it was a long and hard study in the medical years, and all of that was lost to waste. And to top it all, I was a doctor, and I knew that whatever I had studied, it was of no avail. I mean, the doctors were not kidding when they said it had no cure. I knew they were real. I mean, I read all the books, I read all the research. There was no cure. They really meant it, and it was that at that time, and by Allah's blessing, He puts people into our lives. And I came across Brother Numan Ali Khan's lectures on gratitude, and after that, I there was a time when I started looking for things to be grateful for, and it was not difficult, like, as I looked around me, I found I had brothers who could carry me. I mean, if Allah had just sent on a disease or a problem on me, without nauzubillah any thought, I mean, everything was ready for me. There were parents who were willing to take care of me. There were brothers who were able to carry me whenever I asked. There was a sister who was willing to do anything. I mean, if I asked her at like 1 a.m. at night, I need a cup of water, she would go and bring me water. I mean, she would cook anything for me. I asked. I mean, everything was pre-planned, and that time I found that Allah had actually thought before, not thought, actually He had well planned before putting the disease on me. And after that, after the feeling of gratitude, the thing started to actually brighten up. And today, looking on the hindsight, I think getting MS was the greatest blessing I had ever had, because it has actually brought me so close to Allah and His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I could not have even thought about getting so near to Allah and His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like, there were times when I read about, like, in Quran, and before reading anything about Sunnah, I actually started reading Quran and understanding it. And there were times when actually, I had to look at my shoulder. Like, I thought, like, Allah was sitting right behind me. Like the words were so straightforward and so clear that, like, whoever believes, I will guide his heart. Like, it was like Allah saying to me, you just need to believe, I will guide you, like I will guide every step you take. So, and from that, and after that, when I looked into the Sunnah methods, into the Sunnah things, it became so clear that the disease, actually most of it is brought on by our own bad habits. We do not anything what our prophet ate. We do not actually live like our prophet lived. We are so far. I mean, I'm not talking about the philosophical or the iman perspective. I'm just talking about the plain, like, diet and health and exercise. Like, how many times a day did our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam ate meat? And I come from a family where we eat meat. We used to eat meat 3 times a day, if not 4 or 5 times. Any meal without meat is considered like useless snack. So that's our habit, and it's not sunnah. And I mean, I'm sorry to say, but uh, I considered my family to be very religious, but as I studied these things, I thought we are not even in within an inch of proximity of what our prophet has said. And when, the day I told my dad about hijama, he said, what is that? Like, he had not heard about the word even, and I had not heard about the word. And when I explained, like, hijama is like cupping, they put cups and then they draw blood and something like that. And he said, yeah, when I was a little kid, my granddad, who was a hakim, he used to treat people like so. Like, the oldest memory he could get was his granddad, that is to say my dad's dad,
Right.
doing some hijama on some people. So that's how far we have come from sunnah. And we are Muslims, like, we are, I mean, I hope to be raised as Muslim, but after studying all the sunnah and all the Quran, I felt I'm very far away from being called a Muslim. I mean, I do not even know how the Prophet ﷺ treated himself. I mean, even some words were so new to me, I could not understand why I did not get them.
That's the problem. A lot of us lack knowledge, especially in the
Yeah,
health field, because there are not of scholars, not of ulamas talking about health. And health is one
yeah.
of the most important thing in our life, because without health, we can't do anything. So when,
There's nothing. There is
yeah.
nothing.
So when you, as a doctor, when you listen to this hadith that says there's cure for every disease, so what comes to your mind? That is it going to be discovered by modern medicine, or is it has been there that we just don't know? Modern medicine doesn't know about it.
Yeah, brother Mudassir, actually, this is another thing which I realized, after studying Quran and Sunnah. You see, there is a thing called research. During my medical years, we as doctors place a lot of reliability upon any medicine that has been researched. Now, that is a very sugar coated word. Research means a man tried a medicine, he failed, he tried it again, and then he failed again. And he did that for like 1,000 times, and he failed every time, and maybe 10,000 times he was successful.
Yeah.
So, that is a research based medicine. Now, contrasting that with what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and what our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says is not out of his own whims, وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. So Allah revealed directly to our Prophet what was the best cure. So, if you ask any Muslim, like, or any man, like, would you place your reliability on a research which is a trial and error method, or would you place your reliability on what God Almighty Himself revealed upon His Prophet? I mean, I think the choice is very clear. I mean, I do not need any researches after that. I really do not need any researches after. And to support your point, researches have been done over hijama. Researches have been done over honey. Researches have been done over black seeds and over numerous and other sunnah treatments. And the researchers were, of course, very supportive that these are in fact very helpful treatments. And I say to anyone who does not believe, give it a try. I mean, you have nothing to lose. It is not like what do you say, immune modulating drugs or chemotherapy drugs, that once you take a tablet and if it does not work, I mean, you are finished. I mean, you have side effects for lasting for life. This is something, if you try, okay, if it does not work for you, it will not hurt you anyways. So, like, there's no harm in giving it a try and let the results speak for themselves. I
Exactly.
mean, what's to lose? There is nothing to lose, really. And like, this is not something which was like prevalent in those ages, and our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam just prescribed us out of ritual or out of custom. There were many set treatment medications like firebranding and cauterization. These were all treatment plans which were practiced in the time of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But out of all those spectrum of treatments, he chose for us hijama. He chose for us honey. Like he chose. He. It was not like all the choices were there, and he just prescribed them all to everybody. There was a choice involved, and if he chose it, it means it was by divine revelation. And being a Muslim or not, it carries benefits. And I mean, if you ask me, it carries benefits, but I know that I will not ask anybody else to take my word for it. I just say, give it a try. Let the results speak for themselves. I mean, there is no harm in giving it a try, because he chose. It was his choice. After all, it carries weight.
I mean, I would like to make a point that, mashallah, you made a very good point. I would go a step further that, Sunnah is something the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ practiced, and everything came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But with hijama, he was actually ordered to establish it. And that's a very strong word that, in the same night, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was presented with salah. So the same night, all the angels said to him, O Muhammad ﷺ, establish hijama in Ummah. So this is something very strong, and it needs to be established. So whoever is, practicing hijama and treating others, they're actually doing the work of Prophet Muhammad, which is establishing hijama. So how did you learn about hijama?
Actually, the day I read about hijama on Sunnah online, I did istikhara straight away. And the time I did istikhara, things just started straightening out. And the first thing I got, about hijama was hijama nations. And I do not call it luck, I just call it divine intervention that on my istikhara, I landed up with hijama nation. I mean, for a person who is who is wheelchair bound, it is very difficult for me, almost impossible, to go to some place, travel like 1 hour or 2 hours, and then hear a lecture and practice something and come back. And I mean, that is not feasible for me. And what I ended up with was Hijama Nations, an online Hijama course. I mean, so suitable to my needs. I think so suitable to anyone's needs. I mean, anyone in the luxury of their home, in the luxury of their own time, as and when they please, they can just click a button and they can start their lesson and they can learn the Sunnah. And after that, they can actually practice it. And practicing it, I mean, this is a means of, you can say, halal earning, such a halal earning that an earning which our Prophet ﷺ, he himself recommended. As I found out about hijama, now I got my answer over there. Like, this is something special I have to offer to the world. Like, right around me, not many people, not, I mean, very few people know about hijama, and those who know, actually, in fact, do not have access to someone certified who can actually perform hijama. For men or for males, it is easier to get hijama done because there are many people who try to do it. But for ladies, it is a very difficult choice because there are not many ladies over here who perform hijama. I came across Sister Rubab. She is working in Hyderabad and she's running a successful hijama clinic, and she is a wonderful person. Like, I just contacted her on email. She is also a graduate of Hijama Nations, and she actually, she was so kind and so, like, considerate. She actually told she is in Hyderabad, like a city like 6 or 7 hours drive from Lahore, from where I live. And she actually asked her friends, like, if anyone was coming to Lahore, so they could perform hijama on me. So that was so kind of her. And like, I just got sucked into Hijama Nation. Like after seeing her, and after the istikhara, and after seeing her, and after seeing this online course, so feasible for my conditions, it was like everything was planned out for me. Like just like Brother Mudassir, the day I realized, I looked around out of my bed and I saw my brothers, who were able to carry me, and my parents who were willing to help me, and my sister who was like doing everything for me. And I realized this thing was planned out for me. The same realization I came across when I signed up for Hijama Nations. Like everything was for me. Like it is an online course, I can do it. It was for me to help earn my living in a halal way, in a way in which I can pride myself in. And to top it all, like what a doctor's heartiest wish, is to get his patients treated. That is the highest wish a doctor can ever wish for. And right there I have a thing which is recommended by our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and this is a technique which I can apply to fulfill his orders, to fulfill his sunnah. Like I can only look forward to the day when inshallah I'll meet him Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And like I would like to share my experiences, how like how all the doctors said that there is no cure, and Rasulullah Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said there is a cure. And like I'm anticipating that day so much. It really worked out so well for me, and I'm very sure it will work out for everyone out there. Like it is such
What
a
would
simple online course.
Yeah, what would you say to brothers and sisters who want it perfect, who want to be live in a class, and they want to have a class right next to them, but because there's not many training centers out there, but they're very
Yeah.
hesitant to take this course online. What would you say to them?
I mean, what I can say to them is this is a blessing, like, and this is possible only in this era and in this time and in this age. Like 10 years back from now, no one could have thought of having online courses on skills. Like hijama is a skill, like, and and I would argue that an online hijama course is much better than actually going to a class, because once you go to a class, or say to a medical school, you interact with say 100 people, 200 people to at most. Like, but in case of an online hijama course, you get access to like Google groups, which is a group for past, present and future students, in which every student from all over the world, not even student, all the graduates, and those who are practicing hijama all over the world. I mean, your outlook and your experience with hijama, it increases. I am shy to say double fold. It increases a million fold. I mean, I cannot assume that this type of training is even possible if it is not online. Once you're online, you have access to the whole world, really.
That
Like I was just added to WhatsApp group, and all the diseases, like you name it and they have it. And you on Google groups, you have a single world. You have, I mean, diabetes and hypertension. These are all common diseases. You can find problems like these all over the places, and you have treatments all over the places. But even minute diseases like Leber's blindness, or some genetic or congenital diseases, or I mean some diseases which are not even talked about so much, and you type in the Google groups, and you have pages upon pages of experiences of hijamists from all over the world. I mean, your experience is not limited, not even to a city or a country or to a person. It expands to include the whole world. I think every institute should you should start online courses, really, because I see my brothers and my sisters, they have a 1 hour commute going. My sister is doing she's in second year MBBS. It takes her 1 hour to go to King Edward Medical University, and over there she has say 3 hours of lectures and 3 hours of clinical studies, and then she has 2 hours commute back because of the traffic and the rush and everything. So all in all, she dedicates about 10 hours of her every day to studying, and out of that, 3 hours are lost to waste. Out of those, when she arrives in the university, there are 2 hours in which there is, say, no electricity, the teacher is absent, or the teacher could not come, or something of that sort. Or in the case of clinical scenarios, the patient could not make it or something, and that hour is lost. And you see, time is lost that way. But I'm doing an online course. I mean, I get worth of every minute I spend online. I mean, if the only thing I need is intention and my desire to go online and learn. That is the only thing over there. Like once I want, I can spend. If I feel to it, up to it, I can spend 9 hours studying and learning and giving my tests and doing
Exactly.
my
On
modules.
your own time, on your own pace.
Yeah,
Study
and if sometimes, say, if guests came, or if, say, sometimes electricity failed or something came up, I can do that the next day. I mean, nothing is lost. I mean, I get the value for my money, as well as my time, as well as my abilities. So I think that online courses are the best courses to take. I cannot see a downside to it, really. I cannot understand why someone would not take an online course. That is something really strange for me.
Yeah. No, it's called limiting belief. Some people have some limitations in their mind where they say to themselves, they make excuses that I cannot do it, or so because of that, alhamdulillah, I take tens of thousands of dollars of online courses every year,
Yeah.
to increase my message, to increase my knowledge, to be able to reach out to more people, to get my message clear to people, to improve the course and the delivery of the course. Alhamdulillah. So you, mashallah, you look very motivated and excited. So what would you say to the students who have lost their motivation to study, or they got busy in their lives and they're just not studying anymore? What would your message be to them?
I don't. Motivation actually comes from Allah. The first thing I would advise is pray. I mean, and before praying, there should be a realization that you need to pray for something. So the first thing is, actually, it comes from within itself. And once you set your mind to something, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, He opens His ways in ways you cannot even think of. Just like I told you, like people were asking me, what is your source of income? What do you do? And I would say, nothing. I mean, I do not even do anything at the house. Like there's nothing I do. But I mean, with Hijama Nations, I got a vision. Like something I can do and I must do actually. And to those people who lost their interest midway, I would just tell them, like to ask Allah to grant them the strength of the heart and the strength of the mind. And plus, I would also advise them to modify their studying habits a bit, because an online course is 100% motivation. Like you have to make yourself come online. You have to do what you have to do. Like if there is a module, okay, and there's one more thing. If there is a module and you think I'll do it in, say, 1 month, now that is a very long time. What you have to do is you have to speed it up. Like if you can, you should actually free yourself or make a schedule that you will do, say, a set module in this day. Pick the day of your choice. Like if you have weekdays in which you don't have too much work, you can say on this Sunday I have to do this module, and then you have to do it. Like it is not like if you are given, you see, the work expands to adjust to the space of time you give it. And I usually give not much space to my work to expand. So I gave like my first module 2 days. And how I studied was, I used to study, say, like I used to study 10 pages. and then I would do something else like crochet or something. Like I crochet two tiny bags for my neighbors. And the significance of these bags, I would show them, is that they prevented me from feeling bored with the curriculum.
I think
Like I gave 10 pages a study, and then I would crochet like this small bag. You can do anything you wish, and after 10 more, after like 1 hour more, you can do the next 10 pages, and then you can come back to your any other hobby you like to do. And like that, with back and forth, by the end of 2 days, I not only completed a module, I also completed a tiny bag for my neighbors. You
mashallah.
see,
So
so
basically,
that
basically what you're saying is to first of all have a motivation, higher purpose from Allah,
yeah,
and find out the reason why you're doing this course.
of
Then
course,
set up short-term goals.
yeah.
So manageable short-term goals so you can accomplish something, and you have a deadline. And then you're saying to have small breaks where you can do something else and unwind yourself and relax a bit.
Yeah,
That's very good, mashallah. So,
yeah, because if you like, if you allot for one module, say you have allotted 1 month. Like, I don't know about other people's study habits, but the thing I studied 1 month back, I cannot possibly recall it on the 30th day. So the thing I studied 1 day back or 2 days back, that is easier to recall. That is still fresh in my mind.
alhamdulillah.
So try to do it, you like, inshallah, within a limited span of time. And that is easy and doable with online courses. It is not like you have to go to some place and you have to comply to their schedule. This is your own schedule. This, I mean, you are your own boss. I
Yes.
mean, you can give yourself a holiday, or you can make yourself work. I mean, so it's all up to you. And I'm very happy with the online courses. I really love online courses, especially Hijama on Asian. Like, it is simple, doable, and I think it is doable for anyone, especially for those who are homebound or who cannot go out much. And plus, to top it all, I mean, once you do the course, you have a skill which you can apply to earn in this life as well as in the next life. i
Yeah.
mean I mean, it's all benefits. I cannot see a downside to any of it. I mean, I
Let
really
me, let
can't.
me ask you a very controversial question
Yeah.
because you're a doctor.
uh
Because obviously, you because of the Google group and because of the WhatsApp group, you're getting to learn about how many problems hijama is treating.
yeah,
And inshallah, when you study more, you'll find out the reason, why and how. Uh, you being a doctor, now that you come to natural treatment, um, and seeing results in modern medicine and seeing results in natural. I mean, you haven't started practicing yet because when you start practicing, you'll see amazing results. But just reading about it, would you recommend all the doctors to be learning hijama and practicing it?
I think it. I never realized that all through my medical years there was not even 1 day dedicated to diet and nutrition. I mean, can you imagine that? I mean, all through the medical school, we learned thousands of diseases, we learned thousands of medicines, and and through that, all long years and long days and nights of memorizing and cramming, and no one ever thought of telling me that, I mean, eating something can do something to your health. I mean, that is the concept of diet and nutrition is totally lacking in any medical school, up to my knowledge. I do not know. I
No,
studied
you're
one of
right.
the,
You're right. I
yeah,
mean, when you listen
there,
to more of my lectures, you'll know my feeling, and you'll find out the reason why that is the case. But you're absolutely right.
yeah, there was not even 1 day dedicated to diet or nutrition. And since there was no day dedicated to diet and nutrition, you can well imagine there was no day dedicated to natural or holistic medicines. And I think in scopes where medicine itself claims, I mean, or begs to ask that there is no cure. I mean, that is a point when you have to look around. Okay, there is no cure in this book. There should be uh, a cure somewhere else. Like, this is the point of like searching or discovering something more. And to have a disease which has no cure, I think that opened up my mind to many possibilities, like loads of possibilities. And I think I was very closed minded before, when I thought that for every disease there is a pill and you have to take a pill and then you will get well. And that's not the
But
case.
you
The
don't get
disease,
well because you keep taking the pill and keep adding more pills.
yeah, and yeah, that is one major problem. And I haven't shared that yet, but from 6 months back, the day I typed healing on sunnah.com, and I found out how our prophet ate and how what foods he consumed. I changed my diet radically. And I am taking black seed in the morning and in the evening, and all other sunnah foods which our prophet told. And believe me or not, I have not needed to take any painkiller for the past 6 months.
Wonderful.
And I mean, I don't mean to brag, it's all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is the one who places healing. But this is a medium of healing which is huge, and which is hugely like overlook. I mean, they just overlook the fact that food can do something. And food is something we take daily. Like, I mean, there are people who take medicines daily, but if you give a thought to it, the food is something we there is a daily intake of food. And it is very difficult to assume that what you eat does not affect you. That is a ridiculous concept now for me, which was not before. But like when I was a doctor, I used to say, eat whatever you wish. I mean,
Just
the
take the
only
pill.
diet, oh, the only diet I studied during my medical years was the diet for blood pressure, in which there should be no salt or low salt, and the diet of sugar, in which there should be like the sugary stuff should be eliminated or decreased or something of that sort. But to actually be healing with food, or healing through any other medications or any other, sorry, therapies other than medications. And to put my stress more on it, Hijama stresses upon detoxification from tiny capillaries. These are the capillaries which are actually damaged in cases of blood pressure, that is hypertension. In cases of blood sugar or diabetes, the first blood vessels to be damaged are the tiny capillaries of skin. Even in multiple sclerosis, there is a theory by Dr. Swank, that he says that the tiny capillaries of brain are blocked by fat, and therefore he recommends low fat diet. And starting from that, and you see, there is no technology in medicine in which you can approach or treat tiny capillaries of skin or of any other organ. That is to say, I mean, you can put a stent in large vessels of heart and in large vessels of brain, but those are very large vessels. There is no modality to access the tiny capillaries of, say, of skin or of brain or of any other place. Now, this is a modality which approaches only the tiny capillaries of a heart or brain or any other area, and I think this is something which needs to be worked on. And it has wonderful results, as far as I can tell from my recent studies on Google groups and my other interactions with other hijamists all over the world, thanks to Hijama Nation.
Thank
Like,
you.
such
Mhm.
wide scope of medical practitioners from all over the world, from patients all over the world. I mean, I don't think this is possible without internet or without any online course.
Alhamdulillah, I mean the technologies are there. We just need to learn to use them for good. And this is the reason we started this interview series, where we can, benefit from the experiences and case studies from, um, our students who want to share. So it's very important for our students to, come out and register for these interviews so they can share their experience and they share their case studies and success.
Like, just I told you, like, the tiny capillaries, there is no medical modality to approach the tiny capillaries of any organs. This is a modality. I mean, I argue what we have is something we need to offer to the world at large. This is something which the world does not know, and I do not think it will come through any other possible means other than Muslims, because Muslims do it as a religious duty. And we are lucky to be ummah of such a prophet who not only cared for us spiritually, but even in the body and the material things, like you can see, like such treatments. I do not have any precedent example of any other religion taking health issues so seriously and so scientifically seriously. Like there are Buddhists who go on fasting for I don't know how long, but the way we are ordered to fast is something very, very scientifically proven, and it actually brings out all the HDLs, that is the good cholesterol of the body. The way you eat in the morning, this food, and then you fast from a set couple of hours, and then you break fast with water or with dates. Now, this every step of this fast has its own benefits. Something which no other fast in no other manner of doing can provide or can present. This is something we have to offer as Muslims to the world, because the world does not have the luxury of such a prophet. And I mean, they are just in I think they are in darkness, because you see, I learned the Western medicine thoroughly. I mean, as thoroughly as I could, and I could not find any treatments, and they did not address the soul part of the body. Every body has a soul, so they actually neglect all the soul part of the body, and therefore their medications, their treatment plans, they are all deficient. They are greatly deficient. There are diseases with no cures, and they place their trust on researches, which is basically trial and error, and we place our research on something more
More than
reliable.
trial and error, it's bit biased as well. And when you
Yeah,
go in detail, about pharmaceutical companies and money and
that
politics,
that
that goes a
you
bit deep.
yeah, I would like to add over here, the day when I was diagnosed, I was told to take interferon. And the guy, interferon is a medicine which costs 1 lakh per month. That was 3 years back. I took it for 4 years back, actually. I took it for 1 year, and within that 1 year, I lost all my ability to walk, and actually it did havoc with my health. And the person who the pharmaceutical agent, you if you will, he came and he not only gave me 1 lakh worth of injections for a month, he also gave me a fridge as a bribe. You can well imagine that the tax they need, to sell their medications, which is I hate to say that it is a medication. That is a whole new debate, but the way they promote their drugs is simply based on giving doctors vacations, giving them fridges, or giving them any other, like these are all, you can well imagine there is a lot of like black money, like, it needs laundering. And even the researches which are carried out, they are very, very shady.
Mhm.
That is the least to say.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about this topic, but I think our time is up. I really appreciate you coming to the call and sharing your knowledge, and just being so mashallah motivated and enthusiastic, because I think now our new mission is to create hijama entrepreneurs, just not
Yeah,
not just hijama practitioners. And the difference is that entrepreneur is someone who creates opportunities for others. So we want to, our practitioners to be out there and spread the message and create opportunities of health and wealth, and spirituality. So, inshallah, I think you'll do great in that. And if you love internet so much, we'll be teaching a lot about how to give dawah and how to be able to spread the message online as well. And inshallah,
inshallah, inshallah.
we'll take this step by step. So hopefully, you can finish up the course because it's flexible. You can finish up the course as soon as possible, and inshallah start practicing.
Inshallah, inshallah. And all my thanks and all my gratitude to you people to make it possible for anywhere, for everyone anywhere in the world to be able to study hijama, to start it on their own, and to make it a source of living and a source of benefit to the world. That is the greatest benefit, to spread it to the world, to give the world something which they do not have it already. That this is something different which only Muslims can give it.
Alhamdulillah.
So,
Jazakallah
barakallah
khairan.
fikum.
And obviously, we'll be in touch through emails and your work, inshallah. So, uh,
Inshallah, inshallah.
hopefully, talk to you soon. And we want to talk to your sister as well. We didn't talk about it, but we have your. I want to just tell the audience that, mashallah, her sister is on our course as well. So, inshallah, next
Yeah,
time we can talk to both of you again, inshallah. So,
inshallah, inshallah. She just couldn't find time, it's like MBBS studies. Like I told you, long, hard, grueling studies, with at the end of which you end up with a disease which has no cure. You see, that's my plight.
I think
But
as soon as,
anyhow,
yeah, as soon
may
as
Allah put barakah.
Alhamdulillah, she's starting hijama at the right time, inshallah. So
Right, right,
hopefully she
inshallah,
starts her
inshallah,
career with hijama with you, inshallah. You guys open up a nice big clinic and
inshallah,
serve the
inshallah.
sisters of Lahore, inshallah. Alright, sister, keep us in du'as and we'll talk to you soon, inshallah.